Hi guys, welcome back. Welcome to this new Cinema 40 tutorial, and this is the second video in my title creation series. So in this tutorial we'll be learning how to create this nice bevel looking a display kind of a thing, and I've just called it wildcard, and just for the sake of it, so I'm going to call this a movie banner or something like that. And it's a pretty simple concept. We'll be doing the complete lighting, texturing, modeling, whatever, everything. And so let's get started with it. So here in Cinema 4D, I'm going to go and change the render settings to 1280 by 720. Close that. So the first thing I want to do is I want to create the bottom part, and then which is which is this one. I'm going to create this part, and then we're going to create let's start off with the top part because that's very easy, and then we'll go to the bottom part, and then we'll add on the text. So the first thing we want to do is we want to grab a cube for that, and we're going to set the X size to 1200. The spy size will be 200 and the Z will be 90. We want to set the segments on the X to 15, and we want to go to fillet, and we want to choose a roundness of 3. And then we just gonna zoom out, and let's see, that's looking pretty good. And we want to set the Y position to 65, so it's pretty high, a little bit high over there. Okay, and then we want to go and choose a deformer, the bend deformer, and I'm just going to put in the cube, the bend inside the cube, and we want to set the strength to 4, and you want to go to the coordinates. We want to set the P to 180 and the banking to -90. So this is what it kind of would look, and we're going to go and choose keep axis length ticked, and let's check fit to parent. So I think I'm going to Control Z that. And then we want to move it on the side like that. Wait a second, hold on. Before we do that, we want to change the mode to unlimited, correct. And then what we want to do is we want to go to the front view, and we want to make sure that it's perfectly aligned. So if you see the gap between here and between here, there's a very little gap, and that's what we want. And then I'm going to go and duplicate this bend deformer, and here in the coordinates I'm going to set the P to 270 and the banking will be -90. So what we're basically doing is we're giving it a back bend. So if I uncheck this, we get this is a straight, but it is bending from here to here. When I uncheck this bend, we get it moving back. So that's what we're looking for. And we can take these two bend deformers and move it up, move it down based on the length of your text, but I'm just going to leave it at default for the time being, and depending on the text we can move it up. So next we're going to go and create a spline circle, a rectangular spline, and a sweep nubs. So let's go and grab a sweep nubs. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag the profile first, that's the circle, and then the rectangle, and when we do that we get this badness. So in the circle I'm going to go and set the radius to 5, and in the rectangle I'm going to give it a rounding of 12, and then we want to go to the width and we're going to set that to 1140, and the height will be around 205. Let's keep it that way. And then we want to bring this down, and we want to take this and we want to move it to the back so that it's somewhere like that. Okay, and we actually want to go and take this up, move it up so that it gets covered. Yeah. Next we want to go and duplicate this rectangle, and we're going to bring this down, and I'm going to go and choose an extrude nubs, drop the rectangle into the extrude nubs, and then we want to go to the extrude, and we're going to set the subdivision to 5 and give it some bit of, I'm going to set it to 45, and we can just take this sphere rectangle and actually taking the whole sweep and we can drag it a little. Actually no, let's undo that. And I think that looks pretty good, you know, decent enough. And anyway, we're not going to be looking at the back, so it's not going to be a problem. Okay, I'm just going to hide the bend deformers from the viewport, and we get something like this. Okay, so once we're done with this, we're going to go and create our bottom text. So I'm going to go MoGraph and MoText, and here we're going to set the depth to 0.1, and I'm just going to call this tutorial, and set the alignment to the middle. And if we drag this down, we can choose any font we want. So I'm going to choose a Potter over here, Potter. And we can take this and drag it up, and we can even shrink it down a bit to suit our needs. Let's see, and that looks pretty good. And then we wanted to just stick out a teeny tiny bit. Okay, so what we can do is we can go into the right view, and we can just go and place it right there. No, something like that. Okay, cool. And let's get back to this view, and boom, there we go, there we have it. Okay, and looks to be centered. The one thing I want to do is I want to drop in our camera so that it'll be easiest to position our text, and position our text based on the look of the camera. So in the camera, I'm just going to look into that, and I'm going to go to the coordinates and set some basic values. So the H rotation will be 0, the P rotation will be 20, and here the X rotation will be 0. The Y position will be minus 320, 350, and we want to set Z to say around minus 730. Okay. Okay, looks like that's not going to work out, so I'm just going to zoom back pretty much to say something around minus 1500. Okay, and we want to set the go up and place it right over there. We can actually set this to minus 1300, and bring this down, and that looks perfect. Brilliant, amazing. So once we're done with that, I'm just going to go and select the sweep, this extrude, and this text, and press Alt G, and I'm going to name this to say bottom, and I'm going to drag this down. So let's hide this for a moment, and let's get away from the camera, and I'm going to go here, and then we want to go and choose a star, and drag this up, and we want to set the points to say something like, yeah, we want a 5 point, and let's just drag this out, and we can go in our front view, and we can rotate it on the banking to, you know, make it like a straight star, something like that would do. Let's see. Oops. Yes, minus 18. That is perfect. And then what we want to do is we want to go choose a MoGraph. We want to choose an extrude nubs, drop the star inside the extrude nubs, and once that is done, if we look back, we get like that. And we want to go to the object, and we want to set that to say something like 50, and then we want to go to display grow shading lines, and we want to set some subdivisions. Not there. Let's see on the stars if we can set some subdivisions. No. So what we want to do is we want to go and make it editable. Oops, not the star, the whole extrude nubs. We want to make it editable, and select these two, right click, connect objects plus delete, go to the front, and then what we can do is we can go choose the K tool, the knife tool, and and press K on our keyboard, and we want to make some cuts. So uncheck visible only, and we want to take this one and drag that down, and we want to take this and connect it to the vertices, if you get what I'm saying. Okay, And then we want to go choose here and choose uncheck only select visible elements. We want to choose this star. Actually, let's turn that on, and I'm going to choose this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the top view, and I'm going to drag this out. Okay, so now we have a something like that, a cool looking star. And one thing we can do is we can go here and we can choose our edge selection, and we can choose every alternate edge by holding shift, and we can go back to our perspective view and we can move them back in. Oh, let's select all by pressing Ctrl A, right click, optimize, and we can delete the font tag, and then we can go and choose only the alternative edges that we wanted. Oops. Okay, and then we can move them back. Okay, so looks something like that. And then let's go back to our camera view, and here let's delete these extra nubs, delete these selection tags, and let's go back to display grid of shading, and I'm going to go here and choose mesh, axis center, center axis 2, and execute, which will send the axis box right to the center. I'm going to press T, and I'm going to scale it down big time. Okay, scale it down. Okay, and then we want to go to our top view, and we want to place it. I want to press S to bring it to the center, and I'm just going to take it and put it in like that, push it in. So now if I get away from a camera view, you see it's fitted in very nicely. Perfect. We can even take the extra nubs and bring that down. Okay, and I'm just going to name the star. Next we want to create the text. So to create a text, what we want to do is we want to go and take the spline text. We want to drop it inside the cube over here, and what we actually want to do is we want to Alt G this cube, and we want to call this null top. Oops, come on, double click, yes, top. And then we want to go take this cube and bring that down. Okay, oops. Okay, so we want the text, the bend, and this bend, and we want to take this text and let's bring it out so that we can see it. And I'm going to put this to middle alignment, and is it bending? Yes, can you see it's bending? Perfect, awesome, brilliant. Oops, delete it. Okay, so I'm going to just call this devil, and here we're going to choose a nice font. Come on, let's see Tabara black. I think so I'm going to go for the Tabara black light. Tabara black is good, not a problem. And then we want to bring it here, and then we want to go actually to the front view. Actually, not the front view, let's choose the right view, and let's press S to center it out. Okay, and what we want to do is we want to go to the spline tool, choose a linear spline, and then we want to make a nice spline. So we click here, and then we click here, and then we click here, and then we click here. So I'm going to select this point, and I'm going to set this to 0 and -300, apply, and I'm going to select this, and I'm going to set this to 0 and -200, and this one will be 20 and -280, and this will be 20 and -220. Okay, get them the right figures. So once we create the spline, we want to make sure that it is perpendicular, not perpendicular, it is facing the z-axis. And then we want to go and choose a sweep NURBS. We want to drop this line and the text in the sweep NURBS. And now if we zoom out, we get something like this. But this is not the orientation that we require. So to change that, I'm going to go to this spline and I'm going to go to the axis tool, and I'm going to rotate it in such a way like that, and probably like this. Okay, So as we see here, we have some issues. So if I go back to the spline and let's remove the sweep knobs. Yes. Oh, we want to make sure that the spline is facing the right side. So this to -180. Let's put back the splines on, and then we want to go to the axis tool. We want to make sure that the blue axis is pointing to the right and the green axis is pointing back. Okay, so here, this is what we are looking at. Okay, looks pretty cool. So let's take go to our camera. Camera screwed, so it's okay, doesn't matter. Let's just press Ctrl Shift Z to get back to our original camera. Look, come on, can do it. Oh, screw it, I'm gonna have to put the values again. Damn it. H rotation 0, P rotation 20, X position 0, -350 for 350 for the Y, -350 for the Y, and -700 for the Z. Let's actually take that back. Probably bring that down. Cool, something like that. Okay. Now let's get away from the camera and let's zoom back and see what we get. We have something that's looking good. So I want to take the sweep nose and drop it inside this top part, and then we want to drag this up. Oops. And check the axis point tool, and we're going to take this up and we're going to drag them back. So pretty much just like that. And one more thing we can do is we want to make this pretty thick, so I'm going to go to the spline and check that. So we're going to look for the spline. Where's the spline? Yes. Okay, it's pretty inside out, doesn't matter. So we're going to take this, we're going to take these 2 points. Okay, I'm going to keep them selected, and I'm going to check the sweeteners, and then I'm going to drag these back, so then they go inside, right? And then let's go back to our camera view, and we're going to take the text and we want to move it to the side, and probably shrink it down to say something like 150. Move it up, and also increase the horizontal spacing, so say something around 20, or probably 15 will do the trick. And let's increase the height to 170 for our satisfaction. Okay, let's move that back over there, so say 160. That will look good. Okay, so we're done with the first. We want to go and duplicate this sweep NURBS, and we're going to create an end side of radius 5, and actually not an end side, we want to go create a force side. We're going to set the 8 to 6 and the B to 5, and we're going to set the intermediate points to subdivided, and we're going to set the angle to 10. And then we're going to take it and drop it inside the sweep NURBS, and we're going to delete this spline. So now if we, oops, Ctrl Shift Z, let's get away from our camera, and then if we go and have a look, take our sweeps, and we're just going to bring it a little bit front. Okay. So bringing it pretty front. And then we can go back to this text over here, and we'll increase the size of this text so that it kind of just matches our thing over here. Okay, so let's see if it works well on the other letters as well. Let's zoom in. So let's take the sweep and move it front back, see what we get. Cool, something like that. Need have to be perfectly perfect. Then we want to go and we want to choose an extrude NURBS. We want to set the movement to 0, You're gonna take this extra nubs, bring it over here, take the one of the text, make a copy, drop that, take that out, and we can take this and bring it up front like that. Okay, looks pretty cool. Let's see how it looks on the other sides. Okay, and one more thing I would like to do is here in this sweep, this spline, let's uncheck that and let's press LS. So these two are selected, and what I want to do is I want to go and choose this one point, and let's zoom here and hold shift and do this one, select that, and then let's go back to our sweep and our camera. Let's actually get away from that camera. We zoom out and we want to, let's see, bring this completely down. Not completely down, probably a little bit down. Okay, so we want to give a sharp edge over there. You see, give this sharp edge, right? And then we want to take the sweep and go to the coordinates and just move that back in front a bit. Take this, move this up pretty much over there, give it a 1 centimeter gap. I mean, depending on your text, you guys will have to, you know, put it out right. So I'm just gonna hold Alt and bring this down. Actually, I'm gonna set the Z to 1 itself. Okay, let's go back and see what we have. I think it looks great. So let's get back to our camera, and we're going to go here and we're going to select these three. I'm going to press Ctrl Alt G, and I'm going to call this devil, and I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to name this cube, and I'm going to go here and I'm going to select these three text splines, go to the object and set that to cube, and then I'm going to go take this cube and we want to move it to the right like that looks amazing. And then let's close this up. We're going to check this and we have double cube tutorial. So let's get on with the texturing. So we're going to go grab a new material, and in the color I'm going to set this to 120. This is probably around 5, and I'm going to set this to 0. Give it a dark red. I'm going to go to diffusion, effect reflection, effect luminance, add a effect ambient occlusion. I think we're just going to set this R to 100, and then go to reflection. We're going to add a Fresnel, set the brightness to 1 and the mix strength to say something around 10 over here, and then we're going to go to the specular. We want to change the mode to metal, width to 60, height to 90, fall off to -10, inner width to 10, and in the reflection we want to set the R value to 65 and the G value and B value to 0, and we can take this and drop it on this cube. And let's make a new material. You can open the material. In the new material, in the color channel, we want to set this to say something around 240. Oops, 240, 240, and 240. And diffusion, we want to uncheck reflection and luminance. Go to effects, choose ambient occlusion. and in the specular we want to set the height to 80. We're going to go to the reflection. We want to choose a Fresnel texture. Probably you want to set this the same values as 240, 240, and 240. And we're going to set the brightness down to 80 over here. And I'll just check additive. And then we will go to environment. We want to choose a gradient. Let's get into the gradient. And we're going to set the type to 2D diagonal. And we're going to set this one to black. We're going to click on the center here. And we're going to choose a nice gradient, say around 104. Actually, let's set this to say something around 160. And we want to go and choose a complete white over here. So the pattern we're going to do is black, white, gray, and black, white, gray. So this is going to be black, white. Make another one black. Choose another one. Make this white, gray, and we're going to take this black and create a white. Choose this, create a black, white, and we're going to gray again over here with say something like that. And then we're just going to position it kind of nice. Cool, looking cool. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to drop it on this star and probably set the mode to cubic, or actually UVW mapping would look good. So let's create the next material for the Word tutorial, and please pardon me if there's any issue with the noise, because I just moved my place from where I recorded earlier, and you can just follow the tutorial because you won't be much needing to listen to my voice. So anyways, let's continue. Let's grab a new material. Let's open this material, and in the color we want to set the R to 105 and the G to 150. Okay, and then we want to set the brightness to around 150. Let's actually set that to 200. And then we want to go to texture and choose a layer, and we want to set the mix mode to a multiply. Let's get into the layer, and we want to add a tiles effect. So we go to FX, MoGraph, sketches, surfaces, yes, and we choose tiles. Let's get into the tiles. We want to choose circles 1, and we want to set the grout width to 70 and the bevel width to 50, and we want to set all the colors to white except the first color. Okay, and then let's go back here, and then we want to go to effect and choose a clamp color, and we want to set the tiles here to add, and we want to set the low clamp to 44 and the high clamp to 45. Okay, and then we want to go to the luminance. We want to set the R to 90, the G to 140, and we want to set the brightness to around 55%. Then let's go to the reflection channel. We want to set the RGB values to say something around 65. We want to go to the brightness, and we're going to set that down to say around 20. And we want to check additive, go to texture, choose a Fresnel, and we're going to set the mix mode to multiply. Okay, and then we want to go to the color. We want to go to the layer, and here in the tiles I want to right click, choose copy channel. I'm going to go to the bump, and then I'm going to go to the texture here and choose paste channel. And then I'm going to go to tiles here, and I'm going to set the grout width to 20 and the bevel width to 80. Excuse me. Then we want to go to the specular, and we want to set the grout width to width to 25 and the height to say 60. And then we want to check on glow. And in the inner strength, we want to set that to 30, the outer strength to 110, radius to 5, and that's it. And we're going to take this and drag it on our tutorial. Oops, that on the wrong. We want to put it on the mode text. Perfect. And we do not want to forget to change the projection to cubic. And once we set the cubic, we want to set the length U and the length V to 35. So we get a little more dots over here. Then let's create a new material for this ring. So okay, in the color I want to set that to say something around 85 by 85 and 85. We go to the reflection, we want to choose Fresnel, set the brightness to 40, choose something like 60 by 60 for the RGB, and then we want to go to the specular and we want to change the width to 25 and the height to 60, and we want to take this and we can drag it on the sweep, which is the ring. Okay, so next we want to create a material for the black plate. So actually let's delete this material. We want to duplicate this material, so let's drag it, and in the color I'm going to set that to a black color. Okay, and I'm going to uncheck glow. I'm going to uncheck luminance, and in the bump I'm going to set that to around -30. Okay, and let's take this and drag it on the extrude, and as usual we want to set this to cubic, and we want to set it to 35 by 35 for the length. Okay, so once we're done with that, we want to go and texture this text on the top. So pretty simple, we already have our materials applied. So what I'm going to do is for, let's see, the extrude that we have, let me just fold up all these. We want to drag in this material that we created, and we're going to put it on the extrude, and we want to select these two, and we want to set the projection to a cubic with a length of 50 by 50. Okay, you can check on seamless. Okay, and we want to select the sweep. Let's see, which sweep is this? Okay, so now the thick one, the thinner one, we want to set that to, let's see, this one. So we want to drag this and this. So let's get away from the camera and see what we just textured up. So this right here, you see, is what we textured, and we have this one more sweep, which is this. Oops, actually this extrude. Okay, so we want to set this one on this sweep and this one on this sweep, and this extrude has a different texture. So let's grab a new material. Actually, let's delete that. I'm going to duplicate this blue material, and in this material I'm going to go to the color and set this to 255, 230, and 180. Okay, and here in the layer I'm just going to delete the clamp, so we have this plain thing. I'm going to uncheck luminance, and in the reflection I'm going to set the same values as the color, so 255, 230, and I'm going to bring down the beat from 180 to say around 165. I'm going to set the brightness to say around 12, and we're going to set the mix mode to normal. And in the bump we want to set this to -30, and then in the specular we want to keep it the same, and in the glow we want to set the inner strength to 10 and the outer strength to 80 and the radius to say around 3. And in the bump we want to go to the tiles, and we're going to set the growth width to 0 and the bevel width to 60. And in the color we want to go and set the growth width to 1 over here. Okay, so then we're going to take this material, we're going to drop it on the extrude, make a copy, and we want to set it to 30 by the offset u will be 0. Let me get a straight 0, and the length will be 30, and the length u will be 30 and the length will be 30. And if we want to set that right, 30, 30, and projection to cubic, boom, there we go. So now since we have these dots which are like slanting down, not in a straight line, we want to look at straight. So let's go to the camera and see. So we see that it's slanting down. So to fix that, we can just go to select the extrudes. We can go right click, go to Cinema 4D text, and we can just choose stick texture. So when we get out of the camera, we can see they're in a straight line. So that is it for the tutorial. Sorry, not tutorial, we're not done yet. The texturing. Now let's do a quick lighting and finish up this. So I'm gonna go and choose my HDRI Studio Pack, and we want to put in this uh, HDRI rig, and in the studio I want to drop in Studio 4, and then I'm gonna go create two lights. So I'm gonna grab an area light. So in the coordinates I'm gonna set the Y to 140 and the Z to minus 315, and we're gonna set this that looks pretty good. And then we want to go to the general, we want to set the shadow types to area, and in the details, control Z that, we want to set this to rectangular itself, and in the details we want to set the fall to inner square physically accurate, and we can set that. And I'm going to go and duplicate this light. Here in the corners I'm going to set the X to 840, the Y to 40, and minus 120 for the Z. Okay, actually just 20. And we want to go to the details, and we're going to set this to say around 350. Actually, let's set this to say something like 330. And then we want to go to the general. We want to bring this a bit in, and pretty much in, give it a blue tint, an orange tint, and that's pretty much it. Let's go to render settings, go to anti-aliasing, set that to best, go to effect, ambient occlusion, effect, global illumination. We're going to set this to low, and set this to low as well, and let's make a render and see what we get. So this is how the final render will look like. It looks amazing, a lot of good reflections, lighting, and this amazing glow. And that's pretty much for the tutorial, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Any tutorials that you would like me to make, any comments or any changes, please let me know. Thank you again very much for watching, and see you, and have a good day.